Hey everyone. Today we're going to do something very different. So I was on my phone and I got a notification from OneDrive that it had like a story for me. So I checked it out. It was from 10 years ago. I found this video actually there. I didn't even remember this and I completely forgot that it existed. So it was kind of refreshing to see this. This is me, essentially a decade ago, talking about the game that I ended up making in the past 2 years now. Even back then, I wanted to make this game, but things shifted, changed, and I ended up pivoting away from it and then doing different things. But I think it's gonna be very cool to see. So let's get into it. So that's me, 10 years ago almost.
Hello and welcome to our very first devlog. This is Balint,
You can tell peak quality content, microphone and camera included.
and I'm going to tell you about our new and upcoming fantasy game, Tales of Ethos. It's all
Oh yeah, the game back then was called Tales of Ethos. So fun fact: Ethos is still the planet that the game is played on, inside an island called Tirunia, and then the whole universe that everything is in is called Tirunia.
always been my dream to create an awesome game. You know, the kind that gave me the chills when I ran the first .bat command on my PC. The
Yeah.
kind that I could play for hours and not get bored with. And for that, I needed an idea, and not just an idea, a concept. A concept that I would be proud
I have I have a concept of an idea, or however that goes. Kind of funky.
to work on, a concept that I would be proud to deliver to you all. And that's how Tales of Ethos was born. My very first thought was to create a trading card game, sort of, whose battle system was based on Final Fantasy's Triple Triad, but was refined with features from well-known TCGs like Hearthstone or Magic the Gathering.
And to be fair, that was the very first iteration, even when I came back to the game. It was going to be a trading card game or a collecting card game, right, where you could collect and create decks. But as I went through playtesting with multiple people, I kind of realized that, there is a very complex aspect to that, and it makes onboarding people very hard, or a lot harder, I guess. So instead, we ended up on this sort of army-based design, taking concepts and ideas from League of Legends, right, where you have these predefined champions that you can play. So the idea of an army is essentially that it's sort of like a predefined play style, and you can select the ones that you really like and master those, and see where the shortcomings are, and then maybe react to your enemy's choices later on in draft modes and whatever, by selecting a deck that can outmaneuver that other army. But yeah, so that was, even back then, that was the concept. And I brought that into 2024 when I first revisited this game idea. And then again, we just like kind of stepped away from it as we progressed with playtesting and learning more about the game itself.
And that was simple enough. Although there was one problem that I needed to tackle. You see, I'm not very good at drawing things. Well, you could say I suck at it, I
Yeah, I
guess.
do.
So I had to look for a team. I had to look for people who could join forces with me, and help me deliver this awesome product. So I looked around and I found two people, two of my friends, who were really excited about the project and they really wanted to take part in this project.
Okay, so I just want to add here. So this was almost a decade ago, and back then my brother was 13 years old. Fast forward 10 years, it turns out that the person that ended up joining me in this development was my brother, instead of my friends who since left the project. And I mean, we did smaller projects together, and then we just split up at one point in time. But yeah, it's now the revisited version actually began with my brother and I.
So the three of us started working on this. We sketched a few concept arts. We brainstormed about ideas on how we could do this the best way, and then soon realized that even the three of us will not be enough. This was a huge project. The game was very big. The idea and the world of the game was very big.
Yeah. Um, Interesting, right? So at this point in time, I was very, very much like a mid-level engineer, software engineer, and it was one of the things that I did, which I think a lot of mid-level engineers go through, is just like bloating the scope and trying to make everything perfect, right? Like so, even in this iteration, we kind of started designing a system for the game designers themselves, so they could just create these different abilities with like natural language, and then translate that into code level or like abilities on the code side, instead of actually focusing on delivering things. What's very cool, I think, is how much I've learned and grown over the years to realize, hey, one, I can shed scope. Two, I should focus on the things that actually matter. And now I'm at the point where the whole sort of cost of the game was around 20,000 USD so far. It's going to be another 10 or so still. It's just my brother and me, right? Almost full time. I mean, we're both part time, to be fair. But we are the ones who are just like putting in a lot of sweat equity. And then there is one other person who is helping me out with certain coding tasks when I don't have the time for them. And we work with a couple of freelancers. There are 5 freelancers on our rotation, and they just do very specific tasks when we need help.
But we looked for more people, and it was a success. I can say that.
I
It was an
was.
amazing success. We found 7 more people who were willing to join us, who were willing to sacrifice their free time and create this awesome game.
Yeah, it was really interesting because what I did back then, I was still on Facebook. I'm not really on anymore, and I created a post, and it just got shared. It went viral back in the day somehow. I don't know how, within the Hungarian community, that is, and a lot of people just reached out, and so we started sorting through them and finding the people that we actually needed. Now, in hindsight, bloating the team from just like the original idea of 3 of us to 10 was not really good because everyone wanted to do something different. We didn't really have direction. I tried to pull things together, but every single time I tried, there was someone who was like, yeah, we shouldn't do it that way, or like we need this detailed deep dive into this specific era in this city to be able to come up with the design, like the graphical design. And that actually ended up tearing the whole thing apart over time, over the next 1 or 2 years, because we just could not really get on the same page.
Now, that was cool. Now there were 10 of us. Until this day, I can put my hands on how we managed to get 10 similar-minded people on one team in such a small city here in Szeged,
Yeah.
Hungary.
Oh yeah, they were all located in Szeged as well, in Hungary. Not even like across Hungary, just like one single city, which is really cool.
But that's amazing. So that was it. That's the team. That's where we thought that we were standing strong. That's where we thought that we can do this. Let's do it. So that was it. We had 10 people working on this project. We were very excited about it, and we
Yeah.
figured we can do everything.
We
So we
couldn't.
realized that we will probably need a game designer.
Okay, so 10 people and we don't have a game designer, right? Like I wanted to act as a game designer back then. I realized my shortcomings very soon. So we kind of had to look for people who would do this. And we would actually look for people who were dungeon masters in D&D and stuff like that, right? Just so, because they typically have a better grasp on kind of game design. By now, I'm the game designer. I do all the balancing. I do all the Excel sheets and the fun part of it. We'll see how that goes, when the game launches and how people will like it. But hopefully it will work out.
Even though we've all been gamers all our lives and that we love gaming and every concept of it, we will probably need a game designer who can actually help us balance the game.
Yeah.
Since we are looking at a PvE and PvP game, we really need to balance that PvP.
And that's actually still my take. PvE is not going to be part of the first release, but it is definitely on my radar. It just needs a very different mindset to get there. And I think it will have to be somewhat detached from PvP as well, right? But the PvP part, I spend a lot of time trying to balance the fun and the numbers. And even now, there are still some discrepancies. I would really love to see how people will, find decks and armies and what they will find OP versus very weak, because there definitely will be things. But yeah, that's one of my main focus. I mean, it's a PvP game. I enjoy competitive scene. I've always played multiplayer PvP games. I want to nail that down.
Right? So we found a game designer, and with him, there are now 11 of us who are working on this game. Wow! What did you say? Cloud. What? I'm part of the team too.
That's so cringe, by the way.
Oh, right. Guys, this is Luna. That's Luna right there.
Okay, so I mean, the plushie is really cool. In the early designs, if I can find a picture, I'll put it up here. But we had this little creature. The idea of this was it looks like a slug and a rabbit, or like a combination of the two, and it just like very slowly goes towards everything and eats everything. That doesn't really matter what it is, it will just eat it. And we got the community to name it to Ribbit. That was one of the things. But yeah, I thought that it would be a good skit to include it here. Anyway.
And well, Luna is a ribbit. And she's stuck in our world. And
Yeah.
the only way she can get back to Infowest is by us creating the game. So we would really like to get her back to her home. After all,
The camera cut, by the way.
well, that's where she belongs. You know, even though she's cute, she's really annoying.
True that.
Anyway, I think that's enough for introductions this time. If you are interested in the game, you can visit our website at www.talesofethos.com, or you can follow us on Facebook at facebook.com/talesofethos.
Yeah, I mean, those websites don't exist anymore. But if you are interested, there is Tirunia.com, and there's going to be links in the description for the Discord server and the Steam page as well.
And, you know, if you have any suggestions, comments, remarks, please leave a comment down below or subscribe to the channel.
Yeah, comments about what, by the way? Like, anyway.
If you are interested in these devlogs. And thanks for listening and watching, guys. See you next time. Let's do it.
All right, I think that was pretty cool. But yeah, you get the gist, right? It was 10 years ago. I'm still essentially working on a very similar idea for a very similar game, and we're getting close to release. Yeah, I hope you enjoyed. I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.